The shuttle doors opened with a soft hiss. Mira Cattle stepped onto the docking platform of Zeroth Prime. Around her, tall aliens in flowing robes moved quickly, whispering in strange tongues. Their eyes followed her with curiosity and suspicion. Zeroth Prime was the heart of the Galactic Union, a space station larger than any city on Earth, orbiting a dying blue star. It was a place of law, judgment, and order. And now it was the place where Earth's fate would be decided. Mira adjusted the collar of her Navy ambassador coat and walked forward. Her boots made quiet clicks on the polished floor. She kept her back straight, her expression calm, but inside her stomach twisted. This wasn't just a trial. It was a test of humanity itself. A voice echoed through the hallway. "Ambassador Cattle, this way please." A smooth-skinned alien with glowing eyes led her through the long corridors to the tribunal chamber. The doors slid open. The chamber was massive, a circular hall with high walls that shimmered with star maps. In the center stood a raised platform. Around it sat 5 judges, each from a powerful alien race. They looked ancient and stern. At the highest seat sat Overseer Korath of the Drex Syndicate. His skin was pale gray, marked with black patterns. His eyes were cold and sharp, like glass. He stared at Mira as if she were an insect under a lens. "Earth stands accused," Korath began, his voice deep and echoing, "of violence, of destruction, of selfishness. The tribunal will now hear arguments." Mira stepped onto the center platform. She looked up at the 5 judges. "Honorable members of the tribunal," she said, "I am here to speak for Earth. I do not deny our past mistakes, but I ask for the chance to show our present and our hope for the future." Korath's face did not change. "You will be given 3 cycles. Present your case, then we vote." Mira nodded once. "Thank you." The tribunal chamber fell silent. The first cycle of the trial had begun. Outside the chamber, 1,000 different species watched the broadcast. Some wanted Earth punished. Some were curious. A few hoped for a miracle. Inside, Mira stood alone in the center of the galaxy's judgment. She took a slow breath and began to plan. Mira sat in her assigned quarters, a quiet room with smooth metal walls and a wide window facing the stars. She placed her hands flat on the desk in front of her. Her mind was full. The tribunal had started, and she had only 2 cycles left to prove Earth's worth. A soft blue light flickered on the wall. Her assistant AI, Linux, appeared. A floating sphere with a calm voice. "Ambassador Kyle," it said, "the tribunal has released the list of alien testimonies for the 2nd session. Most are unfavorable." Mira sighed. No surprise. She stood and walked to the center of the room. "Let's go over Earth's defense materials. We need something strong, something they can't ignore." Linux hovered near her shoulder. "There is one old transmission file, unreviewed from the Thalan archive. Last updated 73 years ago." "The Thalan," Mira turned sharply. "I thought they were extinct." "Nearly," Linux said. "But this file is a message. A thank you to Earth. It was recorded after a rescue mission. The last surviving Thalan children were saved from a dying moon by a human team." "Why hasn't this been used before?" Mira asked. "Buried in outdated archives. It was never translated." "Translated," she said quickly. "That might be exactly what we need." While Linux processed the message, Mira returned to her desk. She tapped through case files, images of old Earth wars, pollution, refugee crises. The past was heavy. She knew the tribunal would bring it all up. The next cycle arrived too soon. The tribunal chamber buzzed with quiet voices as more aliens filled the upper seats. Today witnesses would speak. Leaders, historians, survivors. Mira stood ready on the central platform, calm but alert. The first to speak was a tall lizard-like being with golden scales. "I am Sarek of Malor. My people remember the human expansion wars. 3 of our colonies were destroyed. We lost half a generation." Mira bowed her head respectfully. Next came a smaller alien, with soft features and watery skin. "I am Vinra of the Elim. I remember when Earth sent clean water and food to our world after our oceans turned to acid. Without them, we would have died. Korath interrupted coldly. Isolated kindness does not erase centuries of damage. Mira stepped forward. Earth has harmed, yes, but Earth has also helped. We are not hiding from our past. We are learning from it. Korath leaned forward. Words are not enough. Mira stood tall. Then I will bring more than words. She left the chamber quietly as the session ended. The judges would now consider what they had heard. Tomorrow she would begin her formal defense. Back in her quarters, Linux floated toward her. Ambassador. The Thalan message is translated. Mira listened to it. A soft, trembling voice, full of emotion. Human ships came when the stars had turned cold. They gave us warmth. They gave us life. We do not forget. Mira closed her eyes. Maybe there was still hope. The chamber lights dimmed. Mira Kale stood alone on the central platform. Her hands were steady. Her voice calm. This was her moment to speak, to show the tribunal that Earth was more than its past. She looked up at the 5 judges, honored members of the tribunal. I stand here not to erase the past, but to face it. Earth has made mistakes. We have caused pain, but we have also changed. A large screen behind her flickered on. It showed images of Earth as it once was. Burning forests, polluted skies, starving crowds. Then the images shifted. Forests regrew. Clean water flowed. People from different nations and species worked together. We fought, we broke, then we healed. Slowly, and not perfectly. But we are not the same world we once were, Mira said. One judge, a feathered being named Jarrow of the Neri, leaned forward. Your words are strong, Ambassador, but change takes more than cleanup projects. Mira nodded. Yes, change means accountability. We formed peace councils, we rebuilt cities. We reached out to help others, not for reward, but because it was right. She shared a short video of humans and aliens working side by side during a starquake relief mission. Then she paused. The galaxy sees only our worst days, she said quietly. But Earth has been trying to grow. I ask you to see us not just as we were, but as we are, and who we can become. The chamber was silent. Then the sound of metal scraping. Overseer Korath stood. Enough, he said. His voice was cold. Your display is clever, but you have hidden something. Mira's chest tightened. I've hidden nothing. Korath waved his hand. A dark file appeared in the air. This is an Earth military file from 60 years ago. A weapon, capable of cracking moons. Hidden, classified, nearly completed. Gasps filled the chamber. Mira stared at the document. She had never seen it before, but she recognized the old Earth defense symbols. Korath turned to the other judges. They speak of peace, but always they build tools for war. Mira stepped forward. Her voice shook slightly. This weapon was never used. The project was shut down before completion. It was a time of fear. A time when we were still learning how to live without violence. You expect us to believe Earth shut it down out of kindness? Korath asked. No, Mira said. Out of fear, and then regret. We made that choice ourselves. And that's the truth of change. Not perfection, but progress. The judges said nothing. The session ended. Mira walked out slowly. Back in her quarters, she sat in silence. Her defense had begun strong, but Korath had struck a powerful blow. She played the Thalan message again. Human ships came when the stars had turned cold. Her eyes closed. She knew what she had to do next. Mira Kale sat in the dark, looking out through her window at the stars beyond Zeroth Prime. The trial chamber was quiet for now, but her mind was loud. Korath's attack had shaken everything. The weapon file he revealed was real. No denying it. She hadn't known about the Mooncracker weapon. Earth had buried it deep. Still, the damage was done. The tribunal judges had seen it. Some might already be changing their vote. This could be the end, she thought. A soft tone broke the silence. NX floated beside her. Its blue glow soft and steady. Ambassador, it said, I've completed a full translation of the Thalin message. Would you like to hear it? Mira nodded. Play it. The recording began. A voice spoke, gentle, slow, and full of emotion. It belonged to a Thalin elder, speaking in broken galactic standard. We were forgotten. Our moons were breaking. Our children were sick. No one came until the humans. They gave us light. They gave us food. They gave us time. We do not know why they helped. We only know they did. And that is enough. If you ever doubt their worth, remember that we, the last of the Thalin, live because they cared. The message ended. Mira sat still for a moment. Her chest felt tight, but not from fear, from hope. NX, she said softly. This message. It's not just defense. It's truth. It's heart. Yes, Ambassador. It is evidence of compassion. I'll use it, she said. Not as a tool, but as a voice that needs to be heard. NX paused. Will the tribunal accept a message from an extinct race? They'll listen, Mira said firmly, because it's real, and because it speaks louder than numbers or records ever could. She stood up and looked at the stars again. Earth's story wasn't just one of destruction. It was also one of survival, of kindness, of choice. And now she would show the tribunal that part of the story. She spent the night preparing. She wrote and rewrote her speech, keeping it simple, honest, and strong. She timed the Thalin message to play at the perfect moment. She practiced every word until it felt natural. When the lights outside shifted to the deep blue of Zeroth Prime's dawn cycle, Mira was ready. Tomorrow she would speak one last time. Tomorrow everything would be decided. The chamber was silent. Every seat was filled. Delegates, observers, and ambassadors from across the galaxy sat in rows above the tribunal floor. Screens across the Union broadcasted the final day of Earth's trial. Billions were watching. Mira Kale stood on the central platform. She took a deep breath and looked up at the 5 judges. They stared down at her, unreadable. Overseer Korath's cold eyes met hers. He had already made up his mind. She could see it. But maybe the others hadn't. Mira's voice was steady. Honored members of the tribunal, this is my final statement. Not as a diplomat, not even as a defender of Earth, but as someone who still believes in what we can become. She paused, letting her words settle. I will not deny what Korath has shown you. Earth once built weapons out of fear. We polluted our planet. We fought among ourselves, and we caused pain beyond our own world. Some delegates nodded. Others frowned. But that is not the end of the story, she continued. Earth changed, not perfectly, not all at once, but we learned. We began to care, not just for ourselves, but for others. She signaled to LINX. The lights dimmed. A single voice began to play across the chamber. We were forgotten. Our moons were breaking. The humans gave us light. They gave us food. They gave us time. The Thalin message echoed softly, the alien voice trembling with memory and truth. We do not know why they helped. We only know they did, and that is enough. When the message ended, the silence was deep. Even Korath didn't speak. Mira looked up. Too, we didn't help them for gain. We helped them because it was right. That is the Earth I believe in. That is the future I'm asking you to see. She stepped back and bowed her head. Thank you. The judges looked at one another. Then the center judge, a being with crystal skin and a voice like wind, spoke. We will vote. One by one, the judges pressed their decision. Mira stood still. Her heart beat fast. The chamber waited. A screen lit up behind the judges. 3 votes for pardon, 2 against. Earth was spared. The chamber filled with murmurs. Some were surprised, others angry. But Mira heard a few soft claps. One judge gave her a respectful nod. Korath stood slowly. His face was stone. This decision will echo, he said quietly. For better or worse. He turned and left without another word. Mira closed her eyes. The weight fell off her shoulders. Earth would live, but the work was just beginning. The chamber emptied slowly. Some delegates stayed behind to talk in low voices. Others walked out quickly, their faces unreadable. But Miracle stood still, alone on the central platform, letting the moment sink in. Earth had been spared. After all the doubt, fear, and hard truths, they had voted to give humanity a second chance. She stepped down from the platform. Her legs felt a little shaky, but her steps were firm. Lionx hovered beside her, its soft light steady. "You did it, Ambassador," it said. Mira gave a small smile. "We did it. Earth did it." As she walked through the halls of Zerath Prime, she passed ambassadors from other worlds. Some nodded politely. A few even smiled. Not everyone was convinced, but some minds had changed, and that was enough for now. Later, Mira stood on the observation deck, a wide glass wall that looked out into the stars. The dying blue sun cast a soft light across her face. Ships passed slowly in the distance, their trails glowing like ribbons. A familiar voice spoke behind her. "You made your world proud." Mira turned. It was Jarrow of the Neri, the feathered judge who had seemed unsure during the trial. "Thank you," she said. He stepped beside her. "Many feared your kind. Some still do. But today you gave us something rare. Honesty, not excuses, not tricks, just truth." Mira nodded. "That's all I had." Jarrow looked out at the stars. And it was enough. He walked away, leaving Mira in quiet peace. Her shuttle was ready. Soon she would return to Earth. But for now she stood and watched the galaxy stretch out before her, endless, beautiful, and waiting. The road ahead would not be easy. Humanity still had work to do. Trust would take time. Mistakes would still be made. But Mira knew one thing for sure. They had been seen. They had been heard. And they had been given a chance. She whispered to the stars, "Let's make sure we earn it." Then she turned and walked away, toward the future.